Greetings, bright eyes. My name is Chantel Asamoto White, and I will be your yoga guide today. I want to welcome you back to your mat. Thank you so much for joining me for today's yoga practice. Today, we are going to focus on acceptance. We're going to accept who we are in this present time and space. We're going to accept where our body is. We're going to accept our thoughts. We're going to accept that we made it finally to our mat and we are cultivating a space to return back to ourselves. So thank you guys once again. Thank you all once again for joining me. Again, my name is Chantel. I will be your yoga guide. Let's get started. First, we are going to find ourselves in a comfortable seated position. Now, it is totally okay whether you have your left over your right or your right over your left. I just want you to accept where your body is and come to a comfortable seated position and take a moment to catch your breath. So I invite you to inhale deeply for a count of 5 in through your nose. I want you to pause at the top for 3 seconds, and then I want you to exhale completely for 5 seconds. All right, are you ready? Let's go. In for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now pause for 3. 3, 2, 1, and exhale completely for 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do that again. In for 5, pause for 3, out for 5, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do that one more time. In for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Yes. Now I invite you to rise your arms above your head, greeting the day, greeting the morning, greeting the space that we're in. And I want you to imagine that there is a string pulling you up, that there is someone of loving kindness pulling your arms up. And I want you to stretch and then gently let your arms fall down by your side. I invite you to do that again. Rise your arms up to the sky and reach up tall like someone is pulling you up, and let those fingertips fall down to the side of your body. Last time. And arms up. Rise. Rise. And reach, and fall down. Yes. So I don't know how your day today is. I have a toddler and she loves to be carried all the time. She still believes that she's an infant. And so I carry a good amount of my tension in here and in my shoulders and my upper back. So we're going to take a moment to send some love to those areas. And we're going to accept where we are, but we're also going to bring in some love so we can release some of that tension. So I invite you to rise your shoulders up to your ears, and I want you to squeeze, and drop. We're going to try that again. I invite you to try that again. So we're going to rise our shoulders up to our ears, squeeze, and drop. One more time. Rise your shoulders up to your ears. Squeeze, 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 and drop. Now I invite you to turn your head to the right, slowly, slowly, until you can potentially look over your shoulder. And trust me, it is perfectly fine if today your body is not feeling twisting your head all the way towards over your shoulders. I want you to accept where you are right now and send some loving kindness to yourself and to that part of your body. And we're just going to stretch our neck just a little bit to our right side. And release back to center. And we're going to do that on the other side because we got to make it even, right? So I want you to twist your head towards your shoulder, and if you have the space, I want you to look over your shoulder and try to release any tension that you're feeling in the opposite side of your body. And I want you to release and come back to center, and I want you to lower your head, your chin to chest. I invite you to lower your chin to chest. We're looking to release some of the tension in the back of our neck and a bit in our shoulders and the top of our back, our scapula area. And I want you to just take a moment to pay attention to how you're feeling in your mind, in your body, in your heart space. And I want you to just breathe. So if you want to refer back to that 5-3-5 breath count, I invite you to do so. But I just want you to take a moment to, one, notice what you're feeling and how you're feeling. And two, I want you to notice your breath. I invite you to slowly raise your head, and imagine that your nose is tracing a piece of paper in front of you. And I want you to rise your head all the way back so that your nose is pointing to the sky. And we're going to take this opportunity to stretch our throat chakra. So that way, after this practice, hopefully you will have a space to say kinder things to yourself if you notice you haven't recently. Take the opportunity to say kinder things to the people around you. Take the opportunity to find your voice. So we're going to breathe in for one count, so one round. You to bring your head back to center. Perfect. Wonderful job. Now we're going to raise our right hand above our head and over. And then we're going to take our left arm and we're going to slide it over. So we're bending our side bodies to the left side, but of course we're working our right side right now. And I just want you to, or I invite you to take the opportunity to really get this stretch on. I mean, think about it. Many of us are sitting at our desks, sitting in our cars, sitting all the time, and we just don't get the opportunity to just stretch and to be and to exist. And so I invite you to take this opportunity to exist in the body that you're in and accept where you are and find gratitude in the opportunity to be able to take this time for yourself. And we're going to raise back to center and float our right arm back down to our side. And we're going to raise our left arm up and over. And slide our right arm to the side and bend our bodies to the right side, stretching our left, and accept. And you know, sometimes it's so interesting where one side of your body seems so flexible. You're able to bend over or stretch, and you're like, oh, you know, this is pretty cool. And then you get to that other side, and it's like, whoa, whoa, we got some work to do over there. But accept it. That is your body. That is your vessel. Deepak Chopra calls our bodies the garden of our soul. So let's take care of that garden. I picked up gardening last year for the first time, and I had to accept that I'm an okay gardener, but I have so much to learn, so much to cultivate, so much to discover in myself, and we're going to rise back to center. And so imagine that this is that opportunity for you to discover your body for yourself. And so we're going to take the opportunity to rise our arms up, and then we are going to find ourselves in tabletop. Oh yeah, so on our hands and our knees. And I invite you to take this opportunity to get your cat and cow on. So we're going to stretch our back. So work with me as we get into cow. We're going to breathe out. I do this with my daughter and I go moo. So moo in your cow and meow in your cat. And she loves it. She's like, mommy, mommy, cat cow, cat cow. So we cat cow on the bed as we're getting ready to go to bed. So I want you to exhale or inhale in your cat. Exhale in your cow. And we're going to do this a few times. Inhale for your cat, meow. And exhale for your cow. Inhale for your cat. And exhale for your cow. One more time. Inhale for your cat. And exhale for your cow. And we're going to take an opportunity here. Spread your knees apart, and we're going to get into child's pose. And I just want you to take a moment here and breathe and be still. And just take an opportunity just to observe your body. How are you feeling right now? How is your mind doing? How's your heart space? How is that body feeling today? And just take about 3 to 5 deep breaths just so we can send some love to our body right now. So I invite you to take those 5 breaths. Last breath. And in. Hold and out. Now I want you to rise back to a tabletop position. And we're going to do our first downward dog. So plant your toes and under your body, about hip width apart, and your hands under your shoulders. And please be mindful of your wrists. I had a time earlier this year when I was really into my yoga practice and I sprained my wrist. I was like, how did I do that? And I had to accept that I was not doing the position correctly. So please make sure that each of your fingers are grounded from your thumbs to your pinky fingers, and your palms are pressed firmly and your hands are underneath your shoulders. And I want you to slowly rise. I'm going to get my headphones fixated here. Slowly rise into our first downward dog. Plant your feet. I want you to walk it out a little bit. Maybe do a few deep bends, waking up those legs, waking up those knees and joints. Waking up our back. Oh yeah. And feel that stretch in the back of our legs. And it is totally fine if you find that your feet can't quite plant all the way down. That is perfectly fine. If you find yourself here on your tippy toes, that's okay too. Accept the fact that you are able to get into this position. You are pushing your body to a place that you may not have pushed it before, and that is perfectly fine. That is excellent, and I am so proud of you. So we're going to press into our feet, into our legs, getting that good stretch. And then I want you to calmly and slowly walk your feet towards your hands and meet me at the top of your mat in a forward fold. I love this. I just feel like a little rag doll in this position. But we are in our forward fold, and if you find yourself here, your hands are able to meet your shins, or even here, your hands are able to meet on the thighs. Perfectly fine, wherever you feel comfortable, wherever your body says it feels comfortable today. Some of you may be able to meet me here with your hands on the floor. That is awesome too. So yes, we are in our forward fold, and I want you to rise for a tabletop and release back down into our fold. I want you to, or I invite you to grab each of your elbows and sway a little bit. Just waking up our body, waking up the back of our thighs, waking up our mind and our heart space. Sway back and forth, sway forward and back. Oh yes, and now I invite you to rise vertebrae by vertebrae slowly. And I like to do this slowly because my back loves it personally. So if your back loves it too, I invite you to rise vertebrae by vertebrae slowly, and rise your arms meeting together and coming down to our heart space. That felt good, didn't it? All right, let us keep on going. So yes, from your heart space, you're going to rise your arms up and down. One of my favorite yoga instructors call this a swan dive. So swan dive back down into a forward fold. Plant your hands and bring your legs behind you. We are in a plank position, and I want you to chaturanga down into a cobra and get that lower back stretch and down. And I want you to rise back to a child's pose so we can stretch it out. I like the child's pose stretch because it helps me to stretch my shoulders, and it's a really good pose to just take a break. So if you ever find in this practice that you're a little bit out of breath, you're feeling kind of tired, maybe it's the end of the day when you're seeing this, and you know you've exerted so much of your energy today, you can always find yourself back in child's pose, and you can meet us where we are when you are ready. So we're going to go back to a tabletop, plant our toes, and up for downward dog. And we are going to start with our left leg up into a three-legged dog, and we're going to bring our left leg up and through or towards our hands. That position always gets me, so I do always have to adjust. So if you have to adjust, perfectly fine. And if you don't have to adjust, perfectly fine. Whatever works for you. And so we are going to find ourselves in a low lunge. So I want you to sweep your arms up and find your balance. Very good, very good. And I want you to pause for a moment. Now I want you to turn your back foot into a, what is it, a 45-degree angle. We're gonna find ourselves in warrior one. And don't forget to breathe, take that opportunity to breathe. And then we're going to bring our arms down with our left hands pointing in front of us and our right hands behind us. And we're going to take an opportunity here in warrior two. And we're going to reverse our warrior with our arms behind us and our left arm swept up above us. And we're going to windmill our arms down into a triangle. And we're going to bring our right arm next to our left. And we're going to be back in our low lunge. And bring our arms up. And I forgot to add this, but I'm going to add it right now. So bring your arms back down, and we're gonna twist. Right arm on the ground, left hand up into a twist. Now we're going to plant both of our hands and bring our right leg back to meet us at the top of the mat. And we're going to fold. Take an opportunity to forward fold here. Breath. We're going to tabletop and release. And now we're going to rise vertebrae by vertebrae and meet each other at the top with our arms swept up above our heads, hands meeting together, bringing it down to our heart space. That was nice. Now let's do the other side. And we bring our hands up and down. Bring our hands to the ground. We're going to bring our feet, our legs behind us. Chaturanga down and in cobra. And back down into child's pose. We find ourselves in tabletop position with our feet planted steady, and rise to downward dog. And then we're going to lift. Make sure your legs are planted. We're going to lift our right leg above us, three-legged dog, and bring them up by our hands, up by our hands. And we're going to find ourselves in a lunge, or high lunge. I said low lunge the first time, didn't I? High lunge. And sweep our arms up. And pause for a brief second. And then we're going to turn our back foot and bring our arms down with our right hand, our right arm pointing forward, and our back arm, our back fingers pointing behind us. And we're going to cultivate space for our warrior two and to set where our body is. Now we're going to reverse our warrior and stretch that side body. Ooh, that feels good. Yes. And then down for our triangle. And then we're going to bring our left arm, our left hand to meet where our right leg is, our right foot is. Turn our back foot, and we're going to get a twist. Yes. Bring our arm down, and we're going to bring our right foot behind us in a high plank. Oh yes, and then we're going to gently float it down, and we're going to rest for a moment here. Yes, accept where you are. How is your body feeling? How are you feeling? How is your mind right now? Take this opportunity to just check in. Are you feeling hungry? Are you thirsty? Do you have to use the restroom? Take this opportunity just to check in with yourself. Check in with your body. How does your mind feel? How does your heart space feel? All right, we're gonna keep on moving. So plant your hands. We're gonna find ourselves in a brief cobra, and then back into child's pose. Perfect. Tabletop and up to downward dog. Take the opportunity to pedal it out, stretch it out. Feeling good here. Yeah. And we're going to walk. You can walk, pow. You can kick, pow. Imagine you are a New York City rocket. You can twerk it out, wiggle it out, jiggle it out. But I want you to meet me at the top of your mat. We're gonna find ourselves in our forward fold. Taking a deep breath, checking in with ourselves, accepting where we are. Think about it. The first time you did this forward fold position, where were you at? Were you here? Were you here? Were you here? Now, check in where you are. Were you able to get in a little bit further now that we've woken up our body and we found acceptance where our body is? Look at that. When you accept where you are, you find yourself getting further and further in your evolution. How amazing is that? So yes, we are in our forward fold. We're going to slowly root to rise, vertebrae by vertebrae, with our arms coming up and over our head, hands meeting, coming down to our heart space. Now I'm going to turn on my mat. Hopefully you can see me. And we are going to come to a wide-legged stance. Taking a deep breath. And I want you, with your toes facing the corners of your mat, I want you to slowly bend your knees. We're gonna find ourselves in goddess position. Bring your arms up. If you're into mudras, I have my thumb and my index fingers touching. From my research, this mudra is dedicated to knowledge and acceptance and receiving of knowledge. So if you're into it, I totally invite you to do it. If not, you can just open your arms up as if you are receiving messages and love and kindness from the universe, and open arms are the position of receiving. And receive it. Receive where you are. Accept where you are. And I want you to bend your knees slowly. And you know, if this feels a little bit tough for you, it's been a little time since you squatted, it is okay. If you need to stand back up to shake it out, go on ahead. I invite you to shake it out. But we're gonna find ourselves in a goddess pose. Bring our arms down to the ground. And we're going to open up our stance a bit. And we're gonna stretch forward. Yes. Now again, it is totally fine if you find yourself here. Perfectly fine. If you find yourself here, awesome as well. If you find yourself here, Wonderful. I want you, or I invite you, to stretch as far, as deep, as much as your body says it's okay. And I want you to accept where you are. The fact that you are this far in our practice today, the fact that you had the time and the space to meet me on the mat today, the fact that you are challenging yourself to do some of these poses is so amazing. And I am just so proud of you. If I haven't said that before, I'm so proud that you decided to work with me here and to meet me here. So we're going to continue to stretch forward in this position. And now we're going to slowly shift our body to the left side, and we're going to stretch this way and again, however far your body says it's okay, it's perfectly fine. And we're going to stretch, slowly move our body over to the right side. And we're going to take that good deep breath. And we're going to find ourselves back to center and stretch this way once more. As far as your body says it's okay to go. We're going to slowly rise. We're going to heel toe, tootsie roll our body back to center. Yes. Our feet back to center. And then we are going to slowly find our seated position. And we're going to start to come down from our practice. So I want you to, again, find a good, comfortable seated position on your mat. And we're going to lie down on our back. Slowly, oh yeah, that feels so good, so good. And I just want you to pause right here real quick before we do our last few poses and before we get into our savasana. I just want you to take a pause right here. I want you to just take the opportunity to reflect where you are, take the opportunity to reflect how far you've come. Like, think about it. The first day you did yoga, where were you at? Exactly. And now here you are. You're like doing positions that you never even knew that you could do. And if this is your first time ever doing yoga, I want to congratulate you for holding space for yourself. I want to congratulate you on making the decision to return back to yourself. I want to congratulate you on accepting where you are and thinking about where you want to go, and also reflecting on how far you've come before you got here. So again, I thank you for joining me. So we're going to raise our right leg, our right knee, and bring it close to our chest. I want you to flex your toes so your toes are slowly meeting its way back to you, and pull in just a little to get that good stretch in and release. We're going to do the same thing to the left side. So bring that left knee up into chest, flex those toes, bring them in, give a little tug and release. Very good. We're going to go back to our right leg, and we're going to lift our leg. And again, with this here, if you're cool here, wonderful. If you can meet me in your shin or at your shin, fantastic. And if you can reach your toes, wonderful. I just want you to take the opportunity to stretch. I'm going to use my right hand here on my right big toe, and we're going to gently bring our right leg down to get that good stretch. And if you have straps or a belt, even a jump rope could work, and you want to get an even more powerful stretch here, and even further stretch, you can totally use that so you can stretch a little bit more. But I encourage you to stretch as far as your body will allow. Get that good stretch on and bring our right leg back up. Oh yes, without turning our hips and letting go, and bring that back down. I'm gonna have to switch sides because I have a wall next to me, but you, my dear friends, my dear yogis, if you're in a good position, you don't have to switch. So again, we're gonna bring our left leg all the way up, and if you're able to meet your thigh, perfect. If you're able to meet your shin, fantastic. And if you're able to reach your toes, hook your fingers on that big toe and gently bring that leg to the side so we can get a good stretch here. Yes, take that opportunity to set where we at. I remember the first time I did this, I could not get my leg down, not even this far. It was about right here. So with practice and acceptance, eventually you evolve and you get better and you get stronger, and it's a beautiful thing. So we're gonna bring our leg back up, our left leg back up, and our foot back on the mat. And I want you to just bring both knees into center, and I want you to hug yourself. Hug yourself into a tiny little ball and rock back and forth. Rock side to side. I like to roll in a little ball. It helps me to massage my lower back, which is one of my problem areas. So roll into a little ball, massage that spine, massage that back, get into it. Oh yeah. And now I want you to rest your feet on your mat, and if you like, pause here, take the opportunity. You can get a blanket, a hoodie, you can put your socks on, you can get a bolster or a pillow, whatever is comfortable for you. You could just lay here on the mat, perfectly fine, but whatever works for you today and in this space. And we are going to take about 3 to 5 minutes in our savasana, and I just want you to allow your thoughts to come and go. Don't try to control them or guide them, but in your savasana, I just want you to think of the word acceptance. So let's go, savasana. Oh, and focus on your breath. Make sure you are breathing. fingers. Maybe rotate those wrists clockwise, counterclockwise, waking that body up. And I want you, or I invite you, to bring your knees back to your chest, hugging them into your chest, rocking from side to side. Maybe you want to lift your feet up above your head and hook your fingers around your big toes while you rock from side to side and happy baby, massaging that spine. Maybe you want to rock forward and back, getting a little silly with it as we're bringing our awareness back to our space and our place. Maybe you want to unhook your toes and start rocking forward and back, getting that good back massage. And finally rising up to center, back into our mat. And we're going to rise our arms up above our head. And we're going to float them back down to our side. We're going to do this a few times. And float your arms up above your head and back down to your sides. Last one. Arms up above our head, hands meeting. Bring them down to your heart space. Bring your thumbs to meet your chest, where your heart resides. And I want you to, if you feel comfortable and you feel safe, to close your eyes and just take the opportunity to again check in with your mind and your body and your heart space, and to note how you're feeling right now. How do you feel after our practice? And just take a moment to observe and reflect and take a few deep breaths in. I want to thank you once again for allowing me to be your yoga guide, allowing me to guide you through this practice devoted to acceptance, devoted to noting where we are mentally and physically, where we are in our heart space. I want to thank you for meeting me on your mat and welcome you back to your mat, of course. I want to again thank you so much for allowing me to share my practice with you and to impart some kind words and some stories of my life as it relates to yoga. And again, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you back here again. Thank you so much. I'm Chantel. Namaste. I'm just gonna play a little music to send us out.